It can be tough to make a big, complex video game without having at least a few problems. But sometimes there are so many problems that it's simply hard to believe that the game was even tested at all. Welcome to Trending 10, and today we're going to be counting down our picks for the top 10 most broken video games of all time. Now for this list, we'll be looking at video games that released buggy, unfinished, or completely unstable. Keep in mind that some of the games on this list have been fixed since their release via patches and updates, but some of them are still their original busted, broken selves. Let's go ahead and get started. Number 10. Assassin's Creed Unity. Starting off our list is one of the worst cases of a publisher pushing a game out the door way too early. Ubisoft was desperate to get their new Assassin's Creed title to Xbox One owners, but after gamers got their hands on it, I think most everyone in the world would have been happy just waiting a little bit longer. The game was completely broken. Ridiculous bugs, character models and textures being completely non-existent, this game was almost unplayable for weeks after its original release. Now, it's not uncommon for developers to issue patches in the first few days for games, as sometimes they catch something post-release that really needs to be touched up upon. But in the case of Assassin's Creed Unity, the entire game was replaced, meaning that when the game was finally fixed, the patch was over 40 gigabytes big and wasn't even a patch. It was basically an entirely new, functioning digital copy of the game. Now, needless to say, Ubisoft has begun to be a little bit more careful with rushing releases since this overall disaster. Number 9. Diablo III. It seems that any game that launches with always online requirements never tends to do that well. When the third installment of this legendary franchise was released, the servers were clearly not optimized for the amount of traffic that it eventually received. And the now infamous Error 37 was born, keeping thousands upon thousands of players from playing, even if they didn't want to play online, just because a solid connection to the servers couldn't be established. Diablo 3 was virtually unplayable for days until the developers finally issued an update that removed much of the always online requirements and fixed many of the server-side issues, and now of course the game is quite good. But Diablo 3's launch will go down in history as one of the worst gaming launches of all time. In fact, it would have been much higher on this list if it hadn't been fixed so efficiently. Number 8. Superman 64. Oh yes, Superman 64. Basically the fly through these rings the game, because that's pretty much all the developers managed to do correctly, and even that's debatable. With famously frustrating and awkward controls, terrible graphics, bugs that make it insanely difficult to finish, which not many do, and just being an overall terrible game, this game somehow managed to be one of the best-selling N64 games at least for a short time, and we really have no idea how. Seriously, who was buying this game? Number 7. Battlefield 4. Now, this game has since been fixed and has gone down in gaming history as one of the best first-person shooters of the 21st century. But when Battlefield 4 was first released, it took the entire gaming world by surprise, and definitely not in a good way. The game was completely busted, in every sense of the word, offline and on. Single-player campaign progress would be randomly deleted from hard drives, making it pointless to even try playing through the story. Plus, you'd have to put up with the numerous bugs and game crashes. The multiplayer itself was even worse. Part of the main draw of the Battlefield multiplayer experience is the destructible environments, allowing players to alter the battlegrounds in the middle of the match. Well, many of the maps in Battlefield 4 would straight up crash the game if they were destroyed too much, completely ripping out a key aspect of the multiplayer experience. Mix that in with the uncountable numbers of bugs and glitches, and this game was a complete disaster. EA even admitted that they messed up and called the game unacceptable. Thankfully, Battlefield 1 showed that EA seems to have learned their lesson overall. And if you go back to play it now, Battlefield 4 shows itself to be one of the most excellent first-person shooter games out on the market today. Number 6. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. The first of Sonic's long and sad downfall in the late 2000s, this reboot was supposed to bring the speedster into the next generation of consoles. But what we got was just, wow. So not only was the story completely stupid, the script itself was cringeworthy and Sonic's relationship with the human girl was just downright creepy. But the game itself was also riddled with bugs and glitches. The loading screens were some of the longest ever seen in a video game. No, seriously. and the physics were just plain awful, and the hit detection itself was all over the place. And of course, the camera was also constantly fighting the player, and the game is just a horrible, horrible, horrible heap of poop. We challenge you to try and play this game all the way through. You probably can't. Number 5. Skate 3. Next up is a game that has established somewhat of a following for just how broken it is. The third installment of this skateboarding series isn't bad, it's actually quite fun. But come on, the game is broken as all hell. It's got horrible physics, hit detection that only works when it feels like it, gravity that seems to fight you with every other step. It's almost like this game was broken on purpose. But there's just something lovable about Skate 3, despite how busted it is. Or maybe because of how busted it is. Who knows, maybe it was on purpose after all. Number 4. SimCity. This 2013 reboot of the long-running series had quite a tough time upon launch. It got great reviews and is overall a pretty solid game, but EA had controversially added a feature that required players to always be online while playing the game, even if they weren't using the online service. After release, the heavy traffic to EA servers caused mass outages, resulting in long problems with the game's AI, as the Sims in the player's cities didn't behave as intended, making running the city incredibly difficult, as behavior simply couldn't be predicted as it had been in previous titles. Amazon even took the game off their marketplace in response to customer complaints. Now, thankfully, the game has since been fixed, but upon its initial release, SimCity was often compared to the disastrous Diablo III. Which you heard about a little bit earlier in this video. Number 3. Batman: Arkham Knight. Now look, I bet you're thinking, what? This game was great! And you'd be right, because most of you played it on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. But if you played it on the PC, well, you probably didn't even play it. Due to the game not actually being developed for the PC and it rather being a port of the console version, the game was not at all optimized to be played on the PC, and it definitely showed. Constant crashes, massive frame rate drops, playing in slow motion. I mean, like seriously, sometimes the game would just run at half speed for no real reason. And uncountable bugs and glitches. Arkham Knight on the PC was a complete and total disaster. After a couple of weeks on sale, the game was outright removed from Steam, and not long after, the developers gave up on trying to fix it at all and offered refunds to anyone unfortunate enough to have bought it on PC. Number 2. Halo: The Master Chief Collection. After the launch of the Xbox One, Microsoft knew they had to come out with an awesome Halo title to sell their console, just as the franchise had once done for the original Xbox with the original Halo Combat Evolved, and the Xbox 360 with Halo 3. Well, Halo 5 wasn't ready to come out yet, and they needed something to hold players over until then. So to make sure that the Xbox One had an awesome system-selling Halo game, they decided to group together the 4 main installments of the franchise into one collection, as well as give Halo 2 a beautiful makeover, and dub it the Master Chief Collection, giving players 4 epic campaigns and a huge multiplayer experience. Well, I guess the project was just too big for developer 343 Industries, as to this day, the game still doesn't even work that well. Sure, it runs decently now, but when it was released, the Master Chief Collection was often called the worst launch in the history of video games. Multiplayer was completely broken, sometimes taking over an hour just to get into a lobby, and then the game would crash when you finally started the game. Now, 343 quickly started issuing updates, but none of them seemed to really do anything. With every fixed problem, a new one emerged. One update fixed the hour-long wait times, but made the teams uneven. Another update fixed the multiplayer lobby crashes, but broke the story campaign. Now, originally released back in 2014, the Master Chief Collection still doesn't work as intended, as it's not uncommon to still have to wait 5 to 10 minutes for a match just to have the game crash on you after waiting all that time. The potential of this collection was absolutely incredible, but it ended up being one of the most disappointing games of all time. And finally, number 1. Big Rigs: Over-the-Road Racing. Alright, who even let this game come out? Who even let it get to retail markets? Well, I guess you just have to expect that a game would be pretty broken when it releases in a pre-alpha state like this game did. Yeah, that's right. Big Rigs: Over-the-Road Racing was released in its pre-alpha state. So how did this impact the gameplay? Well, in case you didn't know, this game was a racing title where you drove a big truck full of illegal goods across borders while avoiding authorities. Or at least that's what it was supposed to be. Since the game was released in such an awful state, half of the trucks didn't even have the cargo in them. There was no enemy AI, there was no hit detection whatsoever, meaning the player could just chug through entire levels without even turning, as you could drive straight through buildings, mountains, and even other cars. And of course, there was even a glitch that caused the trucks to go faster in reverse than when going forward. So, how fast could you go while driving backwards? Well, it's up to you to decide, because there's actually no limit to how fast you can drive in reverse, allowing you to go hundreds, even thousands of miles per hour, so long as you're going backwards. Now, needless to say, a game this bad has deserved a cult following for just how bad it is, and actually managed to sell pretty decently because of its legacy. Go figure. Maybe you should go and check it out for yourself. But alright guys, that's it for our list of 10 of the most broken video games to ever see the light of day. Know of any other busted games? Be sure to let us know down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more great content. But alright, it's going to be it for this one guys. Thanks so much for watching Trending 10, your guide to what's viral right now.